Woke up, it's a beautiful day. Got a fresh pair of J's and I'm out to get paid. Yes. Came from the bottom, gotta find a new way. And I think it's gonna start today. Hey, when life get crazy and shit be going wrong, I take the time out to put words.
We back again with another edition of the Swag Science. In this episode, we're going to discuss the upcoming 154-pound title fight between two contender alumni, Ishe Smith and Cornelius K9 Bundrage. Alright, so check this out. Ishe Smith, good all-around boxer, good set of skills. He can move, he's defensively sound. He's not a power puncher. His power is about average, his speed about a little above average, but he does have first-class skills. Now, you see he's fighting Wallach right here. And if you know Wallach from the Delvin Rodriguez fights, that first one was a classic. So we looking back right here. Ishe Smith, this is one of Ishe Smith's better performances. He really went after this guy in this fight. You didn't see it too much in the early rounds, because he usually does good in the early rounds. And he falters in the late rounds. But this fight, he was aggressive. And he's going to need to box aggressively to beat K9. Now, the things I don't like that Ishe Smith do right here, for one, he gets into too many clinches, and that's where K9 is, you know, he'll exert his strength and physical power over dude. He doesn't need to do that. Two, you see how when Ishe Smith circles the ring, he's really just maybe a foot away from the ropes. Now you see right here, he's tearing into him with some combinations. He's going to need to do that, but again, he's going to have to throw those punches and get out of there. Lands a good overhand right uppercut. He's still a little too close, but back to what I was saying. Ishe Smith, when he circles the ring, he's too close to the rope. So when you do that, all it takes is for a guy to just jab and step with you, and boom, you're against the ropes. He does that several times in this fight, and he doesn't need to do that against K9, because that's when K9 is really going to exert his power on him, when Ishe Smith is against the ropes and in those clinches. See, when you slow down the fight for K9, he's going to grapple, make it ugly. Ishe Smith doesn't need to do that. You know, keep it a high-paced boxing chess match. You know what I mean? Just pop the jab, move. Pop the jab, throw the right hand, work the body. Because K9's, he's still rough, although he's a little more refined now from the last couple of years, but he's still the same old fighter. Now, the thing about Ishe Smith, you see him, he doesn't turn all his shots over, so he doesn't get the maximum desired effect on a lot of his punches. You see his hooks be kind of wide. They go to the side. They're not really digging into his opponent's body, and he's going to need to really land clean and accurately to get respect from K9, who's a tough customer, you know, no doubt. Now, and again, you know, he doesn't need to be doing all this clinching and holding. Now, we're going to look at K9's fight with another contender dude, Grady Brewer. Now, K9, he's moderately skilled. You know, he could box a little bit, he could punch, but it's just his whole style is just a herky-jerky, awkward, offensive type of style. He could be outboxed, and you could outfight him in spots, but you really gotta have power to outfight Bundrage. So I would suggest for Ishe Smith not to do that. He would look better and be more effective going the boxing route. Now you see here, K9 likes to wait sometimes. He got the left hand down. You know, he's sloppy with his technique. Although I did say, you know, it's cleaned up a bit more now because this fight, you know, a little older. But that's when you, Ishe Smith, you capitalize on that and you keep a double and a triple jab in his face. Because K9's not the fastest dude right here. You see Brewer's working the jab, but then he's falling in forward and he's clinching with K9, and he doesn't need to do that because that stops your momentum. And you want to keep establishing your game plan. You don't fall into the other fighter's game plan. Now you see he hits him with a good overhand right. It was a rough, ugly punch, but you know, it landed, it works. Now you see K9, he's so used to people grappling and him trying to grapple himself. He has his arms wide open and he's ready to get the hit. So he gets hit and he lands on the floor. That's the times when you really unleash your good shots. When K9, he's expecting a clinch, that's when you tag him. And he does that periodically in this fight as well as others. It just, you gotta be patient, but box aggressively. You don't, when I say, I know that's almost like I'm contradicting myself, but you just gotta think about it. You be patient as far as knowing when to get in close and rip body shots, but then on the flip side of that, you box aggressively and pick him apart with your jab in the right hand. And Ishe, he throws hard enough shots to get the respect. Sometimes it's not about the punches you throw, but how well you land them and how consistently you land them. And it's kind of funny how so many champions at 154 have kind of avoided, and not just champions, but just fighters in general have avoided K9. But he's really made to order. But the reason why I think a lot of people have been ducking him, because he's a bad style matchup, and you have to really box a clean, perfect fight to get him. This is the same Bundrage that got stopped by Joel Julio, and Joel Julio, he's alright, but he's not, he's not no top level dude like that, at least not anymore, but he's a fringe contender now, and a lot of people should have really just jumped on the chance to take K9 belt. But to his credit, K9 is one of those dudes who he fights a lot better now with the belt. Like, he has that urgency, and I think that's what's really gonna just push the fight. Yeah, he's rough and sometimes he looks clumsy and amateurish, but he makes it work for him, and his greatest strength is really Ishe Smith's greatest flaw. Because Ishe Smith, if you familiar with his fights, how can I put this in a nice way? Like, he almost finds a way to lose close fights. Like in the Joel Julio fight, that was close, but he kind of calmed down in the last rounds. Like, he doesn't really win his rounds decisively enough, and he's gonna have to do that because he's fighting K9 in his hometown, Detroit. He's fighting the champion. You gotta really, put your boxing authority on display in the ring. This truly is a real pick'em type of fight because you got two fighters, one's more skilled than the other, but then one just has that X factor, and that's K9 with his power and ruggedness. I want to say Ishe Smith finally puts all the tools he has together and puts out a great performance and wins and gets the title. But I don't think he'll do so. I've seen him work for years, and he could box with the best of them. He's good, but he just sometimes he just doesn't exert his whole ability on his opponents like he should. In the Wallach fight, you saw he did on that, but that's a rare occasion almost for him. So with that, I'd probably have to go with K9 Bundrage by a close decision. Might be majority, might be split decision. It's gonna be a rough and tumble fight. It's gonna have its nice moments though, because both guys are gonna bring in and fight their ass off. But I just think K9 just gonna edge it, just because he's stronger, more physical, and he somehow makes guys fight his type of fight, and that's what's gonna do him justice. That's what's gonna carry him throughout the day. So with that, I'll say K9 Cornelius Bundrage by a close decision, probably split or majority. Swag Science, hoodallstars.com. 1.